What's up, Internet? What are you doing? It's the beginning of the show. We lost another potential fan just the other day because I sing at the beginning and they had to comment that they couldn't even get through the intro, which is amazing. If I could scare people away by making beeps and boops and fart noises with my mouth, then I feel like I've done my job. Beep boop bop boop boop. What is up, Internet? It is another lovely, beautiful, marvelous Friday in the world. And we are lucky to have a guest with us today, and I'll introduce her in just a second. But I want to make sure that this thing is working. Oh, man, we've got 38,000 people watching the show today. Is that a new record? No. The previous record was 385 million people watching the show congruently. That was our record before. But we're probably gonna blow that out of the water today with 9. That's not a 9, that's a 4. Sorry, 4. We have 4 people watching today, Alyssa. So that means there's 6 of us because there's 2 of us. There's you and I. And let's not forget the little peanut up here in the corner. And by the way, I think the arrow counts as a person. So we're at Ocho. Maybe we'll get to 9 someday.
I don't know. That's about how many fans I have in total, so it's okay.
Marvelous. Marvelous. We like that. Alyssa, do you have any videos up on the YouTube yet?
Yeah.
You do?
Mm-hmm. Little clips.
I swear I've watched them.
Have you?
Yes.
They're very short, so it wouldn't take you very long.
Yeah, I'm actually remembering now that I actually have watched some of your clips. We gotta make them longer. We gotta elongate them.
Are you one of my 10 subscribers?
I think probably. I don't know. Let me see. What's your Alyssa Bentley? I probably spelled it wrong. Whoa.
Oh, that's not me at all.
That's not you. That's somebody else.
Yeah. Oh, that's that artist lady. She's a singer or
That's
something.
some lady.
Yeah, she's some kind of singer. She
She's
tried to get my Twitter handle once.
She's putting in the work there. All right.
Yep.
Hold on. Let me switch scenes here so we can introduce Alyssa. There she is. Okay, there we go. Now we have the screen with Alyssa on it, and you guys can see who she is. Watch while I reach. Oh, yeah. See that? Technology, bros. Yeah, that was my finger. Let's see. Where it is? Oh, there it is. You have 24 subscribers.
24?
24.
That's amazing.
Is this you?
No.
No.
That's not me either.
Someone else with your name.
That's Crazy Town.
Someone else with your name.
How are there so many people with my name?
Oh, there you are. You have 48 subscribers. You have twice as many as we thought. We thought it was 24. We were
that
wrong.
That other Alyssa Bentley
it's
is
48.
a total loser.
With only 19 videos. The other Alyssa has 22 videos and only 22 subscribers.
See?
Oh, look at that. You're getting a massive return.
See?
Oh, whoops. Oh, there we go. I wasn't subscribed. But then again, you can't really trust. It's not like you can trust YouTube anymore to keep you subscribed to anything. So,
true.
At least with my account, seems to be the case. But, you know. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you have the short clips. I think I've watched these.
Oh.
Yeah, I've watched the short clips. Maybe not all of them. Yeah, I know that I've watched a couple of these for sure. Yeah. We gotta get these longer though. 30 seconds? That's no good.
What?
You can't watch a 30-second video. Was there like rockin' jams in this one?
Actually, there was the sound of my boyfriend making pulled pork in the background and my cat kind of meowing.
We gotta put some like techno blast beats in the background and like make people lose their minds. Oh my god, what is this music? I don't know how many times, like, especially on my really old videos. I don't know. That's probably the most common, like, comment. Like, what is this insane music in the background? I'm from Iowa. We don't listen to this. You know, like, all right, well.
Every once in a while, I actually say stuff in my videos. It's not very frequent, though.
I try not to, you know, like, I try not to comment unless I really feel like there's something I needed to mention. Like, oh man, the little squishy guys in the background of the video. Look, the little squishy egg bird.
He looks really adorable and huggable.
Mm-hmm. Olivia just like face plants that little thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's squishy, little fluffy egg
happy.
bird. I don't know what it. I don't know what it's supposed to be, but it's pretty
It's
good.
like one of the Angry Birds, but happy.
But happy, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Happy angry.
You could
bird.
launch it at what is it, pigs or something? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. We should do. I don't.
Where's that much ado about nothing guy?
Nobody said.
His name makes sense. Here.
Nobody said that the audio's bad
Well, that's
in
good.
the chat. So okay, maybe we got the audio correct today. Let
On
me
the
scroll
first
back
try.
here. Who was first to the chat? Alyssa Bentley. Ah, cheater. That's so much cheating. You're like in the room, like yeah, pulling a Frank Dominguez like from the attic.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
only
know
I
what's
didn't
up.
have to be in the attic.
That's true. You could have gone upstairs. Let's see. We got Daryl. We got Big D Smoke. We got Nathaniel M. Want to see more characters of our fish tubers. Love the cartoon work of Joel and Alyssa. Yeah, I love the cartoon work too. I'm not really sure what has happened to our cartoonist. Is that the word?
Yeah.
Is that the word that I'm looking for? I'm unsure what's happened. Last time I checked in, I forget that I could do this Zoom, right? And be like, last time I checked in, there was gonna be more, but now there's not. So I'm not sure, but I'll have to give a shout out to our cartoonist to see what's going on, and then hopefully I could pass on like the Instagram or something like that. But I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do if they kind of disappear off the map, you know?
I've had that issue before with artists I tried to hire to do something for me. They just sort of vanished. So sometimes I guess that just sort of happens.
And sometimes the people just vanish. You're like, hey, I need this thing. Although I have to admit, I've ghosted some people on accident too. So it's not like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's not on, it's not on purpose all the time. So, but who knows what happened to our cartoonist? We'll see what happens. We'll see if they show up. Let's see. Okay, who else is in the chat? Looks like we got Rob the Butcher is here. Good to see you. Glanced over the chat and saw waiting to see this Tool, and I got excited. Maybe Tool was touring in your area, but no. Why would you tease me like that? I think Maynard's too busy making wine. Honestly.
No, they're out in Europe right now touring.
Oh,
there's a new album coming out August 30th.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right. I heard that there was a new album, but I think. I don't know. I wasn't impressed by listening to Maynard and him talk about like their writing process. I
don't care. I like the music and I want to hear some more.
Yeah. Hey, fully understand that. It was just more of a commentary that I was like, I was not that impressed by how they write their albums. Because the guys just write the music and then Maynard just shows up.
Yeah.
And does some singing and is like, okay, there's the song now.
Yep.
Meow. I don't know.
I don't know. It's like.
Is it
it's like me? Don't learn too much about your heroes, right? It's like you find out like, oh, this band that I really like, I'm not going to name any specifics here, but like, oh man, and then the lead singer did something with a 14-year-old who blah 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 back in the day, in the early days of their band, and this and that, and it's like, oh man,
yeah,
I really like that band and now I can't.
Yeah,
or
well, yeah, I mean,
or this author said this and that about this community, and it's like, shoot.
Yeah. I get where you're coming from. But I do have to think that that's the idea of the separation of the art from the artist, right? Mm-hmm. And this is literally the art, period. Like the process of making the art.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you found out that, like you said, like if, who's the goodness gracious Great Balls of Fire guy? What's his name? Jerry Lewis?
Yeah. Isn't it?
The other Jerry Lewis, right?
The other guy who's not Jerry Lewis.
The not comedian, the singer one, right? And he like married his cousin or something. Is that right? Hold on. Let's look this up.
There's a lot of people who have married their cousin. Edgar Allan Poe married his cousin.
Goodness
Einstein married his cousin.
Gracious. Great Balls of Fire. All right. Who wrote this?
Jerry Lee Lewis.
Jerry Lee Lewis. Gosh.
People are
It is
chiming
Jerry
in.
Lewis. It's Jerry Lewis. It's Jerry Lee Lewis.
Right.
Right. And he married his like 13-year-old cousin or something like that.
Oh.
I believe. Maybe she was 14. Maybe.
Still look like a little kid.
Here we go.
When you're
Jerry
13.
Lee Lewis.
Oh, God.
American singer-songwriter.
Why do people like that?
He's been described as rock and roll's first great wild man. Spouse Judith Brown. Is he still? He's still alive?
It's weird when people.
Whoa, he is still alive.
That's crazy. How
He's
old is he now?
83 years old.
Oh, that's not so bad.
I mean, he was born in 1935. That starts to give you a little perspective on 83, right?
Imagine
Let's
all
see.
the things he's seen.
Yep. However, Lewis's rock and roll career faltered in the wake of his marriage to Myra Gale Brown, his 13-year-old cousin. Right? So, I mean, my thing is that, like, I get it. Like, maybe you just hear the tunes and you're like, cool, but there's just, like, no way I'm going to buy that record. You know what I mean? But anyhow, with
Right.
the Tool thing, I'm thinking that, like, my criticism is related to, like, how they make the music, right? Not, like Maynard seems like a cool dude. Like, I'd probably hang out with that guy. But I'm almost like, it just doesn't seem like a genuine way of making music, you know?
Right.
And it just could just because they're super famous and blah, 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 and all that other kind of stuff. And so it's not, like, really that big of a deal.
Well,
I think it was more just me going, like, yeah, I don't know.
It's weird though because it's like people think it's Maynard and he's the front man, so therefore people assume that he's the one in charge of it, but really he's not. He's just like the voice that was hired by the rest of this band who they do this stuff and then they go, dude, we need some music, like, you know, some vocals on top of it, and he'll go, okay, and so then he'll just kind of knock it out.
It's a good point.
Because that's just the way that
point.
his mind works or something. He does things faster than they do, and they sit there and do math all over their music, and
that's true.
Turns out amazing, that's pretty much all.
See, that's a good point. That, you know, but then you also kind of learn a little bit more about the artist that you wanted to know about,
right?
And then you're like, oh, okay, he's just a talented singer.
Yeah,
he's maybe not the songwriter. He's just a lyricist and the singer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But, you know, like, I guess a parallel example of that would be, like, Dave Grohl. Like, Dave Grohl was literally, like, the hired gun of Nirvana.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he was the hired studio drummer. And the... Right? Of Nirvana. And you're like, you could have just stopped at Nirvana and been like, I've got $1 billion. Cool, man. Right?
Right. Didn't he move on, though, to other...
He did the Foo Fighters.
Right.
Like,
That's right.
900 million, like... hits, like #1 hits, and you're just like, oh, what?
I appreciate it when artists can move on beyond their frontliner.
I feel like Dave Grohl's like the
Passing
Keanu
away.
Reeves of music, right? I mean, the similarities in physical characteristics, but that aside, but they're both like, yeah, I know, man, like, I just kind of, you know, like, kind of just doing my thing, you know, if these guys weren't good, then, you know,
yeah,
it wouldn't be good.
Right.
And you're like, what? I want to give him a hug. I want to hug that guy.
Be excellent to each other.
Be excellent to each other, right? I think the Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, like the next one coming out, would be awesome if it was...
Don't get my hopes up. Is there a next one coming out? Because that would be amazing.
It's in production.
Seriously?
Yeah, they're filming it right now.
Oh my god, I'm so out of the loop for everything.
I mean, either they're filming it or they're like building sets and stuff. Like they're getting ready. Like
is
the
it
script
gonna
is
have old Bill and Ted on it? Because that'd be
amazing.
amazing.
The script is done. Like they're making it. Like it's not like they're going to make it at some point in time. It's already greenlit. It's like it's happening.
So much joy.
You didn't know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so there's an interview with Keanu Reeves because they're like, and the guy, what I think his name is Ted or something like that. I don't know. The guy who plays
Ted.
Bill.
Bill?
Yeah,
Oh,
because
he's also the guy from
Keanu
Lost
was
Boys.
Ted. Keanu was Ted, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the other guy, the guy actor who played Bill, the blonde guy.
Mm-hmm.
And they're putting this out, and there's an interview with them I was listening to, and they're like, well, what's the premise here? Like, what's this movie going to be all about? Like Bill and Ted's what adventure or whatever.
Alex Winter?
Alex Winter, yes, that is his name. But they were literally like, what is this about? And they're like, okay, we'll give you a little bit of a synopsis, right? So Bill and Ted were supposed to go and save the future, right?
Mm-hmm.
With the Wild Stallions, like they're supposed to put this album out that saves the world, blah, blah, blah. Well, apparently they just never got around to doing it.
Oh my God.
Like, so they have kids and they're just like dads, and they like just never got around to like doing the actual becoming
Right.
the Wild Stallions album. So now they're like, oh no, we have to write the album, basically. So that was just basically like their really short synopsis of like what's supposed to happen in it. And I'm like, oh my God, it's gonna be the funniest movie ever.
That's awesome. It's like what actually happens in real life to real people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So I think it'll be pretty
And a
good.
little bit sad, but I'm gonna watch it for sure.
I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah.
There's no way I'm not watching that movie.
Yeah.
I mean, if we went to go see John Wick 3 in the theater, right?
I did.
I'm saying that if we did, which we did, you did,
Mm-hmm.
and I did separately.
Right.
I went with Vicky Toria.
Right.
There's no way I'm not going to go see Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure in the theater 3.
Yeah.
This time it's personal, right? How's it go? Because it's like Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, First Blood. And then it's like Bill and Ted's Part 2, Electric Boogaloo, right? And then Bill and Ted's Part
Bogus
3.
Journey.
Part 3, This Time It's Personal.
Right.
Right? Isn't that how that goes? Like number 1 is like the First Blood, and then
Right.
it's like number 2, Electric Boogaloo, and then number 3 is
This time it's personal. Mm-hmm.
It's personal. You know, because 1 and 2 was just business, right?
But this time.
But this time, it's gonna get real. Oy. Oh man, we lost a bunch of fans because we're not talking about fish. Oh man, people came, they left.
That's okay.
They don't want to be fans anymore. Sorry, guys.
All
Man.
right.
It's got to be 24-hour fish talk. 24 hours. 365. Or, gosh darn it, I'm going to unsubscribe.
Hey, pistos have babies.
Your Apistos had babies?
Yes.
Which kind of Apistos do you have?
Cacatoides double red.
Double reds? Double whammy.
Mm-hmm.
Double whammy. You got babies? Or how infantile are they still?
They are about 5 or 6 days old at this point.
Oh,
So they're so teeny tiny. They don't pick up on camera very well.
yeah.
But,
Still into the danger. You're still on the danger zone.
right.
Yeah.
Right. But it's kind of funny because when I'm doing something in the tank next to theirs, like yesterday I was trying to plant all my pink crypts.
Mm-hmm.
And the male, I could see him, he goes up to the top of his other tank and he's just staring at me like, bro, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm working in this tank. He's like, yeah, but you know, you could be like feeding me or something specifically. That'd be great. And I'm like, well, come on now. I already fed you twice today. He's like, yeah, but I got babies. I got kids to feed.
I got to be a father to all these babies.
Meanwhile, the mom is just like super mom, uber mom, hulking out on him all the time. Like,
Yeah.
don't you come near my babies.
That's working for you.
Yeah, it's
Oh.
actually, it's pretty good. So they're just, tumbling all over this tank that I had heavily planted. And now I'm just letting it go to algae because otherwise I'm going to destroy all the babies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But you got to just let it go.
Thanks,
'cause
Robert the
don't-
Butcher.
Don't destroy all the babies.
Right.
Like, just let it go. Just let it go.
Yeah, they're so tiny. And it's okay. They're going to be fine. All the plants and stuff are going to be fine.
And it's super easy to recover, like a little bit of algae, that kind of stuff. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that tank's doing. It's okay.
Yeah. You could always get like a pre-filter.
Oh, thanks, Candy.
You could always get like a pre-filter sponge for doing water changes.
Oh, I already do that.
You got the coarse one on there?
Yeah.
Well, it's more for like people that listen to this later.
Oh, true.
And they're like, "Oh, I still want to do water changes with my babies."
That's a good.
You know, that's one of the ways to do it. So you can actually just stick a pre-filter sponge. Let me see if I can find one. Do I have one in the thingy here? I know that Aquarium Co-op sells the pre-filter sponges. Oh, I posted my link for the one thing that we need to talk about. But well, either way, we'll get to it. Where's that pre-filter sponge? Pre-filter.
I know they got them in several sizes now, which is really cool.
Yeah, they got the mini coarse one. This is the one. You want the mini coarse one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on. It's $1.99. You can't complain with that.
Yeah, it's
$1.99. I know there's gonna be a bunch of people that are like, "Oh, you just try to sell pre-filter sponges." I'm like, well, you know, this is I don't use the pre-filters for my the intake sponges. Like I don't use these for my filters because I use giant sumps.
Right.
So,
but I have them stuck on the end of all of my siphon hoses. So
right. Yeah, so you can just put that on the end there, so you can still do your water changes. As long as you can still do your water changes, it's not that big of a deal. Like with the babies in there and stuff, like you can run into a little bit of algae and all that, but that's like pretty easy to navigate as long as.
Although the other thing that I do is I wait for Mama to decide that it's nap time for all of her babies, and she puts them all in the cave, and then I do a water change at that point.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
But I'm sure that doesn't work for all babies all the time. So if you've got shrimp or live bear babies or some sort of baby situation where you don't have a mama herding the babies all over the tank,
yeah,
I would highly recommend actually putting a pre-filter on your sponge.
I would just put a pre-filter on that hose if you're going to do it either way. Mm-hmm. Like just if you're doing water changes with a hose like that, I would just do it that way.
Mm-hmm.
I do my water changes. I do my water changes from my sumps.
Right.
So I have like all that sponge and all that stuff is in front of there anyhow, and it's like whatever weirdo managed to make its way to the hose, it's gonna get hit by the pump.
Right. And then the four tanks that I have that have big old matin filters on them, I just do them from behind the matin filter because I've got shrimps all on the other side, and I really don't like sucking up shrimps into the hose.
Yeah.
Just giving them on that wild ride.
It's a hard day.
Yeah.
But we do have, I did put in the title here, the most essential aquascape tool ever. Which is probably making a lot of people not show up today, which is fine. Because it's summertime, guys. It's going to... By the way, anybody doing YouTube, it's summertime in the United States. Expect low returns on your effort.
People are going to be outside grilling.
The most important aquascape tool...
Dude, that would make an awesome hat.
It would make an awesome hat. I need to get them to start making hats. And everybody asks me about this towel constantly. They're like, I want one of those. I have 3 of them, I think. I brought mine back from Germany. But life is a little bit easier in your neck of the woods if you're in the U.S. And here's the link for it. I think that's it. Yeah. The Dennerle Aquascaping towel, which people constantly ask me about this towel. It is in stock at Aquarium Co-op. They are an affiliate sponsor. So if you buy it through the link, yes, we do get credited for sending traffic over there. So I have to put that in the video here and just remind people that, like, yes, they are an affiliate sponsor. So if you go through a link and you click on this and you get it, and full disclosure, Dennerle gave me these towels for free.
Here's another one.
And honestly, it is just a towel. It absorbs moisture. You can wash it in the washing machine and dry it off. They work quite well for that application.
It's kind of pretty though.
It's a really nice towel. It is. I have to admit, like, the embroidery on it is next level. They are $8.
It's actually not a bad price for a towel.
It's $8. If you can afford it,
with embroidery,
get one. If you can't afford it, don't get one. If you don't want one, don't get one. Wait, no. How does that go? If you don't want one, buy 10. Thank you. Okay. But they just came in stock the other day, and I have handled that question so many times, and I've promised to people, like, whenever that comes up, I will let you know. And Corey literally imported them just because I was like, you have to get these towels or somebody's going to karate chop me in the face.
You can just tell me to do it, and I'll just...
But...
right in front of his kid. It'll be real mean.
My child.
Yeah.
So that's the deal with it. Is it the most important aquascaping tool? I don't know, but it has become the most important tool for a lot of people as far as questioning goes. Like, how can I get that towel? So you could actually buy one now if you want, and if you are in the U.S.
Yeah, and I will say, not that I care much about whether you purchase a towel or anything. I don't have any stake in the game. It is actually just a regular terry cloth towel, not like certain towels that I received for free from the the AGA, that are not terry cloth towels. I'm not sure what they are, shimmy shammies or something. I don't know. They don't absorb water very well, and I was a little upset by that, but it's okay.
Oh, they're like those weird microfiber.
Yeah, microfiber doesn't absorb water very well. It's great for dusting.
I don't like microfiber towels for anything.
I like them for dusting.
Ever.
And that's it.
Ever. I think the only thing I like microfiber towels for are like polishing pads for rubbing compound, like on a car.
That makes sense.
Or an acrylic fish tank.
Right. Or polishing glass. Hey, real quick question. How often do you feed snails to your Scootin' Fruities?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Who asked that?
Warren Williams actually specifically says he is from Marysville, and he was recently given a Shut-a-Denny puffer. Was wondering how often he should feed snails specifically to keep its teeth healthy.
To keep its teeth healthy? Well, one of the funny things about the Scootin' Fruity puffer is that they don't really chomp down on snail shells that much when they're little. They like go around to the opening of the snail and like suck the snail out that way.
Oh, they do that?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Which is ridiculous. I'm like, eat.
But fun to watch.
I'm like, eat the whole thing. No, because they leave stupid snail shells all over the place.
Yeah, that's true.
It's one thing if you leave like ground up bits of snail shell, like that's not a big deal, but there's just empty snail shell.
Slowly dissolve into the water.
You can see in the video that's playing in the background here. Let me get the arrow out. You see these snail shells right down here? Just the minefield of snail shells down there. That's just from that puffer. So definitely you definitely want to feed snails. Like, how often do I feed them snails? I put snails in there every day. But I just kind of, instead of throwing like 50 snails in there once every 5 days or something, I just throw like 10 in there every day that I'm around.
That makes sense.
But when they're little like that, you can definitely get them to eat like frozen bloodworms, just like any kind of like crazy, was live frozen protein. Basically, bloodworms works really well.
Cocktail shrimp.
A cocktail shrimp. You could do like a raw shrimp. Yeah, I've done raw shrimp and thrown that in there for them. But the human, the size that human we eat, like the amount of food that we eat is ridiculous. So remember, just like not very much. But I do have a lot of cherry shrimps in the tank with them. That the population slowly but surely goes lesser and lesser. So They're definitely being eaten by the puffers, but you guys know me. I'm just one of those dudes that's into the ecology of a tank. So I feel like that's what shrimps do in the wild. They just breed like crazy and get eaten by stuff. So I'm not that upset about it because it's what would be happening in nature. So yeah, but I would say, like, for me, I throw like 10 in there a day, and mainly because I'm like, catching them is a big pain in the butt. You know, I think if I could just get a giant net of them, I probably would just throw 50 in there once a week or something.
They are a pain in the rear to
But
just catch. Like, unless you're going to do the lettuce thing and then just drop in
my
lettuce.
tanks are so gigantic that even throwing lettuce in there is like, the snails are like,
Well, you
yeah,
clearly
cool, bro.
don't have so many snails in your tank then.
I do.
But not enough to make it so that they just swarm the lettuce as soon as it's in.
There's a ton in there. But they're like, if they're 8 feet away, how long does it take a snail to even know that there's food 8 feet away? You know what I'm saying?
I feel like I've seen my mystery snails chase each other across a 20-gallon tank.
Those are big mystery snails. We're talking about ram's horns and like Malaysian trumpet snails and stuff.
Yeah.
How long does it take them to travel 8 feet? Or
I don't
even
know.
know that there is something 8 feet away from them to even go to?
To be fair, I do not have an 8-foot aquarium to do this test. So
Right.
I have no idea.
Right. I'm just saying, like, my tanks are pretty big to the point where it's like, okay, I if I throw like a snail sticks in there, and I come back like 10 minutes later or something, I'll have a little pile that I can scoop them out.
Yeah.
Fairly easily. But like, if I try the lettuce thing, not so much, because they're like, hey man, there's already like lettuce type food everywhere here,
Right.
bro. Give us something better. But that's one of the things, like the ONIP tabs, the Sarah ONIP tabs, that works awesome. That works really, really well, because I can just throw one in there and the bristle nose will go down there and start munching on it down in the substrate, and then it's like snails all around the bristle nose, like, get out of here, fish. And then I'm like, scoop out my snails and feed them to the other fish.
You know what I love with snails and bristlenoses is when I usually feed Rapashi is in a lump on the ground, and the bristlenose is doing his thing, and then the snails start coming in, and then you can see him just like, get off me. He's like, psh, and then all the snails kind of go poof, away from me, because so it's like a explosion of snails every once in a while.
People are subscribing to you.
Apparently, yeah.
Look
It's
at that.
crazy.
There are people keeping track.
Although I gotta say, I think Shelby Ray is my biggest fan.
Do we
She's
get
always.
to what if we get you to 1,000 subscribers? What do we do?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know. I mean, if you live locally, I could give you one of my weird, not actually green dragon longfin guys that is gonna get born in a couple weeks.
Were you gonna give it to me?
I don't know.
Don't give it to me. Give it to somebody else.
Right? No, somebody else who lives locally. I know Big D Smokes lives locally.
Oh, that reminds me. Should we do the I was gonna say, a hot dog keeps popping into my head, and that is not the right food. Donut. The donut meetup at Legendary Donut tomorrow.
So tomorrow.
Yeah, Alyssa's super busy. She's not gonna go.
Yeah, makes me sad actually.
You heard
I
it here.
want to, but I've got a friend who's moving to Chicago this weekend, so I'm meeting up with him for the last time tomorrow. and-
Oh, at Legendary Donut?
Wouldn't that be awesome? But no, we're going to this place that we used to always go for brunch, it's up in Seattle. It's called Hudson's, and it's amazing if you don't have kids because it's 21 plus, and that's part of what makes it amazing for those of us who don't have kids. You can go and just not bring your kids.
I don't want to go
Or
to your
if your
stupid...
kids are already 21 plus, you could totally bring them with.
I don't want to go to your stupid 21 plus restaurant. Get out of here.
You don't have to. I'm just saying
Everybody's
that's where
there
we're
just all
going.
hammered on mimosas at like 11 a.m.
It's not really like that.
Yeah, you heard me. You heard me.
There are people who are like that. That's not what we do.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, jeez.
It's like going out to an Ohio State tailgate restaurant. It's too much. I just can't deal with it.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I just want some avocado eggs Benedict or something, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to deal with this guy yelling at me about the recruit class of 1993.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I like football, but it's a bit much.
Right.
Whew. Oh, why were we here today? What are we doing today? Okay, we're talking about the towels. We're talking about puffers.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about snails.
Oh, Joel G asks some really important questions. What if we get me to 1 million subscribers?
What do we do?
I think I would post more often.
I will
Because
answer,
clearly people want to see the
I will
little
answer
things.
this question with some real talk here for a second. If I can't get myself to 1 million subscribers, I have no idea how I'm supposed to get somebody else to 1 million subscribers. I literally posted a video this week that got 1,000 views.
How many subscribers does Corey have?
350,000?
Yeah, even Corey only has 350,000.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's not even a million. A million.
No, I literally posted a video this week that did 48% less than a normal video I post.
Oh God.
You know, did
Yeah.
half, basically did half as well. I don't know. So
That's okay.
I wouldn't even know how to get somebody to 1 million subscribers.
I don't know.
I don't even know how to get myself to 1 million subscribers. I'm like, I feel like I'm winning the game at 24,000.
That's
right?
That feels like a lot to me, but
It
that's
feels like a
because I am not trying.
But I
all.
literally,
I'm not trying at all.
There's a thing that like, because somebody was asking me like, how could I do better with my channel, like with more subscribers and more views and stuff. Like I could literally just do more crazy stuff, you know, like I could jet ski into a blue whale or something, you know, like I could, I could take goldfish and throw them in my local pond, which I've seen in a bunch of fish videos that have like 400,000 views. Oh, cool. Somebody got paid like 15 grand to throw goldfish into their local pond. Great. Let's reinforce that nonsense, you know.
Please don't do that.
No, I'm not going to.
No,
like,
I'm talking to everybody.
What I'm saying is like I know what I could do to like get crazy subscribers and stuff. And you know, the thing is like I feel like I'm engaging with the like 1,000 people who are like engaged with my channel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which my channel is just me, you know. I mean, you literally look at some of my old videos, they're cringe. They're as cringe as you can get. I mean, this is cringeworthy. I get it. 5 years from now, we'll both look back on this like,
like what were they doing?
What
Sitting there talking
were we
about
doing?
Tool for a while. Shoot, what's that?
What? Right? Which is fine, but I feel like I'm engaged with the like 1,000 people that I want to be engaged with.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and if some other people come in, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But you know, if people want me to like, I don't know, do outrageously stupid nonsense,
Right.
you know, and just like put things in danger, like animals in danger and stuff like that, just to be like, oh, look at me, I'm gonna cash a paycheck. That's just not my deal. And one of the reasons for that is because of here's how a shameless self-plug tie-in. Patreon. Right? And I'm just realizing that we're at the 38-minute mark when I'm supposed to talk about Patreon.
Just sitting there chatting.
Because we're
forever.
about to answer some questions from Patreon. People would wonder what Patreon is. Patreon is a third-party website, blah, 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 blah. It's a third-party website where people have gone and have ever so graciously become what's called a Patreon. There are posts on there. It's like a social website, you know what I mean? Like there's a community forum. Like I post some stuff up on there. I'm going to be doing a lot more on Patreon starting fairly soon. I don't know when. I don't have a date for when that's going to happen, but some of the broadcasts will be on Patreon and things like that. So there will be some live streams and things like that that will be on Patreon only moving forward here. and the access and all that kind of stuff will be available for YouTube members also. So people that basically voted with $1 a month basically get the opportunity to just have more engagement, continue to grow the community. And our long-term plan is to grow the community as much as we can to get to a point where we can actually start doing some outreach, right? With what we've kind of dubbed a makerspace, which, you know, a makerspace is typically for carpentry, woodworking, that kind of stuff, where you can go there and you can use power tools and stuff and learn from some people how to do stuff. Well, we're basically going to try and do that with the fish keeping hobby of like aquascaping and doing plants and doing those kinds of presentations and having tanks and stuff where the actual public can come and hang out. Like a good example would be like if Big D Smoke, he's a local guy, and if he wanted to come down and you know, we could actually, you know, work on some hardscape stuff together, like how to put the substrate in, how to put the rocks in, put that kind of stuff. We could also film it, and then we can send it out to people on YouTube, so you guys can, even if you are far away, you'd have some access to what we're doing there and stuff like that. And that is our long-term plan, to try and have more like physical community outreach, but also be able to outreach to you guys more often and be able to start doing more you know, explanations on how filters work, how water quality works, show you guys how to do water testing, what kind of benefits and detractions there are to substrates and rocks and plants and blah 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 and lights and all that kind of stuff, and just keep kind of moving forward. And you know, thanks to the people on Patreon and stuff, and like members on here and all that kind of super chat, blah blah blah, all that kind of stuff. We're definitely going to keep moving forward because of that. And yeah, lost my train of thought. We're done with that portion. Moving on. So now we have to go to the Patreon part of the show, because on Fridays, so throughout the week, people post onto the Patreon page. We have a community tab there where people are able to post up pictures, questions, comments, complaints, concerns, whatever you got going on that you maybe would want to put out there with the public. We have a small community here, 290 people. Yes, somebody asked me, would you like to have 1 million people on Patreon? Yeah, of course. Of course, we would love to have the resources of, you know, 100 or 1 million people chipping in $1 a month to be able to do projects and do stuff. And, you know, like, I want to do more outreach in the fact that, like, I want to be able to travel to some people's houses and do some installs for certain, you know, obviously, I wouldn't be able to do that all the time or anything like that, but that's a perfect example of, like, how do I free up some resource to be able to go do that stuff? You guys know that I'm out there working as much as I can to try and get this makerspace going. I've definitely been burning it at both ends. The candle's been burning at both ends to try and keep the dream alive on my end, and you guys on Patreon definitely are helping keep the dream alive also. So I want to say thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks. All right. Glenn Tusher. Oh, hold on. It says in here how I'm supposed to say it. Sorry, guys. I screwed up. So Glenn, just watched a replay of your stream today. I expected an answer to my question in a comment. Didn't purposely try to botch you up with my name. Although it was kind of funny, you got very close. It is pronounced Tuksher. Tuksher. As you guys remember from last Friday, I spent, you know, probably about 18 minutes trying to figure out how to say Glenn's last name. And thank you very much for saying that I got close. I don't think I got close. But, you know, sometimes people have difficulty to pronounce names, and I think it's a good opportunity to be able to just have a laugh at our own inability to pronounce certain things. But now I don't have an excuse, because I should know how to say it moving forward. Tuksher. Nice. So hopefully I'll be able to remember, and then, like, you know, moving forward, you know, Glenn won't have to do this. But Glenn, thank you very much for being a Patreon. Thanks for very much for, you know, posting on the Patreon and being part of the show and that kind of stuff. Definitely appreciate it. And hopefully I did help. What was it about? What did he post about? I can't remember exactly what you posted about. I'm getting old, and the days are getting long, so I don't remember what it was, but hopefully I helped you out.
The TDS meter?
Oh, I think it was TDS meter. That might have been what it was. I think. That sounds right.
recently bought a TDS meter with no actual reason other than to play with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, considering they're like $13-14, they're just really not that much. But it's also a reminder to people that like a TDS meter being $13 or $14, it's not telling you very much.
Right.
It's not giving you a ton of information. It's not like you buy a $14,000 spectrometer that you're actually be able to get a full spectrograph of what is actually going on in your water. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff.
But
It's just letting you know that there is X amount of whatever is conductive in your water.
But it will tell you if your roadie filter is not working anymore.
Yeah, that's basically what TDS meters are for. Because if your RODI filter, if you're using one of those to filter your water, you should get a reading of 0. And if it goes up from 0, you know, I need to change my filters. So that's the main use for a TDS meter.
Right. And real quick to everybody, I am no longer looking at the chat. I am now looking at the Patreon instead, because that's what we're moving on to. So if anybody's asking me a question specifically, please hold on to later.
Warren Williams asking, how do I pronounce Scootin' Fruity?
Shouted any?
Shouted and I. I've looked up
Shout and deny.
I've looked up the pronunciation for it a bunch of times. It seems like the Dutch one is the closest if you look it up. From what I understand, online. So if you look up the pronunciations and it gives you, American, Canadian, British, whatever. The Dutch one seems to be the most accurate one. That sounded like when we met the German breeders. That sounded right. Although I'm an English-speaking American, so good luck with my pronunciation of anything. We're pretty lucky that I can even say my own name.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
it's
and
a
also,
shocker. I'm just saying it's a shocker that I can say my own name.
Right. And I mean, there's language evolves.
It does. The evolution. Mm-hmm. I just normally go with Scootin' Fruity because I know how to say that because it's not even really real.
It's so much easier to say, like Tweezle Twazzle. So much easier to say than Tweezers.
The Tweezle Twazzles. Gotta get your handle on some Tweezle Twazzles, and then you'll be good to go. Ginger Graves sends in a triptych. Do you know what a triptych is?
Yeah, I made one. 2.
Fine.
You told me how.
Tell me how to make a triptych. I got 3 pictures. I'm sticking them together. Yeah. Anyhow, she says, my overgrown 20-gallon White Cloud mountain minnow tank. I was going to hack back the jungle when I realized it was full of fry. Tried to get a picture of the fry to no avail. Yeah. So,
yeah.
If anybody out there is trying to get pictures of their fry, buy this camera that is in my hand because the person that was going to buy it didn't buy it. Now I'm super pissed. Because I could have sold this months and months and months ago because I held on to it for a friend of mine and she decided that she didn't want to buy it. I don't know why. I forget. Something like her dog was sick or she was farting too much or something. I'm not sure. But what you're looking for, I'm not saying you have to go buy a Canon camera or anything like that, but what you want actually is the macro lens. It says right there. 1-to-1 macro. So this one right here is a 90 millimeter. It's a really nice Tamron lens. It's 90 millimeter, but that's what you're looking for. You're looking for a macro feature, whether it be a lens or even some cell phones do it now and stuff. Like they'll zoom in and do a macro, and you're looking for 1-to-1 is what you're looking for, and you'll be able to get the fish fry action pictures. You should try to get a picture of the fry to no avail. If you look closely, you can see little blurry dots of light. Those are the fry. I'd give it up on my White Clouds breeding. Surprise! Yeah, it's one of those things. Like the White Clouds, as soon as you give up on them breeding, as soon as you give up on them breeding, the next thing you know, you've got fry. But that's also one of the advantages to White Clouds is that they kind of just will breed even if you're neglecting them. So Really fun fish to have outside. That's a perfect fish for like out in a pond outside because they can handle that low temps. I mean, obviously you don't want your water at like 150 degrees directly in some sunbeams in like Texas or something, but
Right.
you know, it's a great fish to have outside in a pond to handle the cold, and they'll be out there breeding and stuff. And hopefully by the end of the year, you got a whole bunch of fish. You can sell them off at your store, and I don't know.
Plus, you know, if you're like one of those people who just wants to do one of them little wine barrel container pond things, don't put goldfish in there. They're really quite small, surprisingly. But
Oh, yeah.
white clouds will totally eat those mosquitoes, so you don't have a mosquito situation going on.
That's a good point. Ooh, I like that. Yeah, that's a good point. Those like half wine barrel
Yeah.
chopped down. Yeah,
you
that's
can get-
not a lot of water.
No, it's only like 25 gallons.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
The on the website it swears it's 25.
Full?
Yeah, when full.
A full one. So cut in half, it's like 12.
Oh no. The halfway is a
Oh, so it's supposed to be 50 gallons.
yeah.
Because a bathtub is 60 gallons.
Right. Yeah. So that's a good bathtub.
A good bathtub. You get that squinty eye. Watch out, guys.
Yeah.
You get that rage. Watch out. Good bathtub. Does it have claw feet, too?
Right.
I need a claw foot tub for my
that
bathing.
was one of my favorite bathtubs. I used to have one.
You had a claw foot?
Yeah, I had this great apartment. Anyway, doesn't matter.
Alyssa doesn't want to talk about it.
No.
She doesn't want to talk about it. She brought it up, but she doesn't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
But Ginger also sent this in. Some folks, can you help a gal out? I have a Fluval 4 on the 120-gallon Oscar tank. I hate it. My hands have a bit of arthritis, and I have a hard time servicing the thing. Ooh, that makes sense. I'd like to put a sump in. I cannot drill the tank. It's glass, and if I cracked it drilling, I could not replace it. Could I somehow attach the piping for a sump to the Fluval hoses? Any ideas on suggestions would be appreciated. As you guys know, my recommendation is to drill, you know. And I think that's why Ginger is like, it's going to crack, so I can't drill it. 120-gallon tank is actually surprisingly easy to drill. The smaller the tank gets, the harder it is to drill the glass. It becomes increasingly difficult. Super thin tanks, like the cheapo 10 gallons, 20 gallons, stuff like that. Those are the hardest things to drill because they're not even made out of very good quality glass to begin with. And they're super thin, so they run the high risk of cracking and stuff like that. A 120 shouldn't be that big of a deal to find somebody to drill it. Almost every overflow out there, and when I say almost every, that's just because there might not be one that I know about. But I've seen so many overflows, that's what creates the giant flood. Because power ticks off for some reason, the siphon doesn't come back, the pump turns back on, and just keeps pumping into the tank.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and then if it's only like, it's one of those frustrating things where it only turns off, like the power only turns off for like a second, just enough to reset all your clocks.
Mm-hmm.
And then you don't even realize what happened except for your clocks are all reset.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know who has a clock that's like plugged into anything, like maybe on a
On your stove.
stove or your
microwave?
microwave or something. I don't have a microwave.
I don't either.
Screw microwaves. I hate microwaves.
Boyfriend
I
really
hate
wants
them.
one.
Yeah, Vicky wants one. I've been holding out, you guys. I'm a holdout.
Dude, I grew up on microwaved eggs and they're terrible and I hate them, and I have like a thing against microwaves now because of it, and that's it.
You hate
Don't microwave
microwaves?
eggs. Don't microwave
No,
eggs. They're gross.
There's really no reason to microwave eggs. So, Admiral Blackbeard was recommended to drill, but yeah, I don't know that there's a I don't know that there is an overflow that's just kind of fail safe. You know what I mean? Like it just doesn't seem to exist. You know, as far as I know. you know, I don't know one that doesn't have that problem. Like they all seem to have that problem, which is why I would say to drill. But maybe there's some wizard out there that knows how to do it now, and maybe we'll just never have to drill a tank ever again. But
well, maybe Ginger knows somebody nearby to her who can help her to drill this 120-gallon Oscar tank and then set up a sump on it.
Yeah, hopefully there's like someone
she's
around.
Got some
because
arthritis, and you just want to get that taken care of and not worry about it too much. Like if I was going to get tanks drilled, I would ask for assistance, because my little tiny hand drill is not going to do it for me. So
that's true. I have so many tools, and I've done it so many times. Like, you know, I'm just like, yeah, just do it, you know. But that's also a part of the game, is sort of just like, I mean, I guess that's the thing, is like you don't want to break your tank.
Right. And hopefully Ginger has
Jake Hussey became a member.
People in the area who can help her out.
Whoa. We got a new member during the show.
Nice.
Jake.
Thanks, Jake.
Jake became a member, and we got a Swedish Kronos 1872.
That's a long time.
From Rumbust.
Mm-hmm.
That's one Swedish penny for every day that I've been sober.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, brother.
That's awesome.
That's a lot. Mr. Manifesto says Greg Sage has a great video on his page about using PVC pipe to create an overflow. Could easily adapt that to drain into a sump. Yeah, the problem is it works on a siphon. You get is that?
That's correct.
Are people like missing what I'm talking about? Like you need a siphon for that overflow to work. If you're, you know, I've made tons of those for water changes and all that kind of stuff. Like there's no self-priming.
The only way that I could
siphon.
see that working okay is if you always kept your tank filled and the siphon started near the top of the tank.
No, because you'd run out of water in the sump.
Yeah, that's true too.
And then your pump would be drawing air.
Oh my god. Oh yeah. Okay, never mind.
I mean, like I said, if there's somebody out there that knows how to do it and can do it and could post a thing about it, like I've made tons of PVC overflows for water changers and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But they're all siphon based one way or another. They don't self prime. Like they need a human intervention to get it started.
Could you make it so that it's like how a toilet works, where it's got a
P-trap?
Yeah.
A P-trap just stops gases from getting out.
I know. But then you just add more water into it, and then it flushes automatically.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would have to play with it. I don't know
So,
the physics. The physics is making my head hurt.
With a P-trap, right, you have the pipe that drops down and goes down like this and then goes back up and goes down, right?
Yeah.
So when you drop water into your toilet, there's only air behind just on the other side, right? And that's vented also. So there's no resistance there. That's what, those little pipes sticking out of the top of the building. Mm-hmm. You're like, why is that like 2-inch PVC pipe sticking out of the top of that building?
Yeah.
That's the plumbing vent.
Yeah.
To allow so that it doesn't.
With a little hat on it so it doesn't get rain inside.
Normally, no.
Really?
Well, if it got rain inside, it would just.
Oh, maybe that's a Minnesota thing, because you don't want to get snow inside of that thing because it'll clog it up.
Oh, that's probably. Yeah, snow. Ice cube.
Just sit there and turn
solid
into
ice
an ice,
block.
and then you
that'd
back
be
up
bad.
into your house with all sulfur and everything. It'd be terrible. No.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Either way, but the P-trap is just.
Plus, if you can just imagine if your tank sounded like a toilet constantly flushing in your house.
Yeah, but you would also need some kind of intervention to drop that water vertically, right? Because the toilet is dropping water from up above,
Right.
right?
Like when you're,
It's gravity fed.
and then because it feeds up from the sump and into,
No,
no,
it feeds
just so you know, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just thinking about stuff. So, it's internet,
Yeah,
not some sump expert.
I'm just saying that, like, I just don't have it.
I just realized I'm like, oh, people are watching me talk about stuff I don't know what I'm talking about. That's great. That's
Daniel
awesome.
R. sent this in.
Yes, let's move on.
Moving on. Daniel R. sent us in. Says, hey guys, following early major algae issues, I realized the culprit was high nitrates, rising into the hundreds well before the weekly water change. From the ferts I was using, after changing these ferts, the tank has been algae-free for nearly a month, but I have started noticing small amounts of algae on my slowly growing epiphytes. So I have reduced my light intensity from 100 to 50. My question is, will the plants be able to fight off this algae, or do I need to manually remove it? Reluctant, just in case damage to the leaves. Nitrates generally kept below 40. Thanks, guys. Always a good idea to just lower your lights a little bit anyhow. You know, almost every plant that you have here is either going to grow completely out of control if you have like tons and tons of light on it, or it's just going to grow algae on it. You know, it's like all these buces and the anubias and all that kind of stuff is definitely going to just grow algae on it.
Look really nice though.
In just super intense light. Now it depends on what the lighting is on here and whatnot, but I always kind of recommend people to kind of tone your light back, you know, and bring it up when you need it, because if you figure out that you need a little more light, you turn it up a little bit, right? And then your plants grow a little better, which there you go. Whereas if you have way too much light and you're trying to dial it back, you're trying to fight back from algae because you had too much light, right? You see what I'm saying? Like you're trying to eliminate the abundance of something that was already doing well versus encouraging the thing that you actually want to do well, which is your plants, right?
Right.
Yeah. So, you know, especially if you're going from something like, let's say you have T5 lights, T5 fluorescent lights, and then you buy an LED light, and you're like, yeah, I just blast this thing up to 100.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, don't do that. And they're like, well, my T5s were like brighter. I'm like, well, maybe to your eye, but they actually, it's the usable light that's actually penetrating actually through the water.
And really only for like 2 months.
What's that?
Really only for like 2 or 3 months, and then they start being about half as efficient and
the
half
T5s.
as bright. Yeah.
Yeah, the brightness drops big time on those.
Which I'd never even noticed until my hygrodeformis, what's it called again? Water wisteria stops growing.
You're like, oh, that's weird.
Something is wrong.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely is a little bit better to just start out with some low light, bring it up a little bit, and that advice extends to everybody. Sounds like you had like a pretty high nitrate level, being all the way over 100. That's a bit high. As you guys know, I run mine from like 30 to 80 in that range. If I'm anything lower, I'm definitely dosing fertilizer. Anything higher, like if I see 100 on there, I'm like, it's probably time to do a water change. But I definitely like to test over time and get a good indication of what's happening over time, right? So let's say I start out on Monday, right, and I'm testing, and I start at 60, and then the next day it's 50, and the next day it's 40, and the next day it's 30, right?
And you know your plants are eating it.
You know it's getting chewed up, and it's like there's going to become a point where, we're going to be at 0. We're just going to be, baseline and whatnot. So
it's going to be starving to death.
Yeah, it's a little bit crazy for that to happen in most tanks.
Right, because you feed fish.
You need a lot of plants to really do that, but it is possible. So that's the thing, is that like, maybe I need to dose on a Thursday action also, just to make sure that I'm high enough up that things are going to go well. So definitely test a little bit over time and make sure that whatever your consumption is, you can start to really figure that out. Michael Sarr sent this in, which this is awesome. It says, I know it's not a fish filter, but before I could put in a few hours on this today, I spent 2 hours cleaning up the mess from drilling PVC for the last filter. It's getting close. Started with the board. How many betas can I put in it? Now, if you're talking about putting a beta in the guitar, I would say 0. I would just say you can't put any betas in there. I mean, you could physically put one in there with some water and stuff. But all this beautiful woodwork and everything like that is all just going to get trashed once you fill it up with water, you know, and you're trying to do water changes. And it turns out you put it in a weird spot. You go to move it, the neck breaks off. Then everybody's upset because now your portable Betta tank doesn't have a handle anymore. Plus, you can't rock any jams. You know, you figured, you figured your new Betta, Reba? Yeah, your new Betta named Reba was gonna be able to do a duet with you while living in the guitar, and then, you know, now the neck's broken off, and now you can't even hit a G sharp.
And then it turns out the Betta doesn't even have any musical interest anyway.
Yeah, it turns out Reba doesn't even like music.
Right.
What a jerk.
Right.
It's
one of those is like, I like all kinds of music, and really doesn't like any of it.
Did you think that Reba was a female? Reba's a male.
Okay.
Yeah. You could do your male Betta voice. Hey, you guys like chocolate and pie?
Bro, what's up, bro? I want to kill this over here.
Did you just bro, what's up, bro? Hold on, let's read back from the dictation here. We need a stenographer. I bet you guys didn't think I knew what a stenographer was, huh? I've been to court too many times. But let's read back the notes here. It says, dude. Wait, what was it? Bro?
Bro, what's up, bro?
Bro. You have to read it back like, bro, what's up, bro? Period.
Betta says, bro, what's up, bro? I'm going to kill this thing over here.
Hey, stop murdering things.
Oh, I've said that to Bettas before.
It's over the top. It's too much. Quit attacking the tank. Let's see. Who's in the chat today? Ooh, Deborah Sanders. What's up? Deborah Sanders is here. Says, I think my daughter was born sassy. Still sassy at 42.
That's awesome.
That's the answer.
Yeah.
Life.
The universe.
Everything.
Mm-hmm. But
42.
What's the question?
Oh, you know, I was recently in a... well, not recently. Maybe 6 months ago, I was in a conversation with people that are all upset because they were
relatively recently.
Douglas Adams, the guy who wrote that book, they kept saying that 42 actually meant something. You know what I mean? They're doing that like crazy numerology thing where it's like people drive around.
Take 4 and 2 and you add it together. It's 6,
it's
guys.
6.
It's like
and
Satan.
then, you know, when I was at the store, it was like, you know, it's $4.99 or it's $3.99. You take 3 from 9, and that's 6 also. And oh my God, the Illuminati's trying to get me. You know, and you're like, oh, dude, what? And then you actually read, you know, because they asked Douglas Adams a bunch of times, like, what does the 42 mean? And he's like, all right, guys, let me level with you. It was just literally like a number that wasn't too high and wasn't too low, and I even wrote it in there. He's like. I even wrote what I was thinking was like, all right, I just need a number that's not too low or too high. And he wrote it in the book that's what the computer was thinking about. Like, well, you know, I'm just going to have to pick a number. It can't be too many. It can't be too few, you know? And he's like, I wish that it was some kind of crazy thing and I had some kind of crazy answer. And, you know, the reality is, if Douglas Adams actually did have some kind of crazy answer, because he died, right? So it doesn't seem to me like he really had the answer to life, the universe, and everything, because he just got old and passed away like the rest of us.
The point is that sometimes an artist will just make a piece of work and then other people will put way more thought into it than the artist ever even did, other than this is what I want to put down. Sometimes a horse is just a horse.
Of course.
Of course.
Famous Mr. Red. Oh, damn, we just got demonetized.
Shoot!
Copyright claim.
What does Cheshire Cat have to say here?
This is super long from Cheshire Cat. One of my 4-month-old platy fry, the biggest one, has dropsy. Last week it ballooned up in a weird way that didn't look like constipation, but I fed peas anyway. When I went to feed them a couple hours ago, I saw the scales sticking out and immediately knew it was dropsy because of all the images I've looked at in the past. It still eats, and though a bit shyer than usual, still active. Did a water change in a vacuum and added a little aquarium salt. I don't have plain Epsom salt. I use scented in baths.
It's nice, but yeah, you do want to get regular.
I just think it's like, wait a minute, you use scented Epsom salts in your baths? All right.
Yeah.
It's getting wild.
Lavender's pretty cool.
Welcome to the Patreon, guys. It's getting wild out here talking about scented bath salts.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Not like the kind they have in Florida.
Must be a lady thing, because I wash myself with a rag on a stick. Anyhow,
okay, Bart.
there's too much conflicting information online to know what to do. Plus, there's such a slim chance of survival anyway. That's true. I water change weekly. 0 ammonia, 0 nitrites. Nitrates just below 20. No pH change, so none of that is an issue. I have 3 of its siblings with it, so I'm concerned for them too. Although they haven't changed at all, I'm still hoping its youth, appetite, and activity are good signs in our favor. I was actually crying earlier. Why does it have to be dropsy, though? Besides the high fatality rate, the pine coning freaks me out. I get the heebie-jeebies, as some call it. And I will agree with you 100% on that. It is the pine coning just gives me the heebie-jeebies big time. So that's not that weird because I literally, I literally get that same vibe when a fish has that pine cone dropsy situation. Like I'm all, I don't know what to do. I'm freaking out. But dropsy is almost always a sign that there is some kind of internal failure going on. So, the recommended treatment of salt is just going to help like exsanguinate the excess fluid that is basically in their internal organs.
Yeah.
It's basically what you're going for, just to kind of relieve the pressure and stuff like that. But the best thing to do there is what you're doing already. Some water changes, a little bit of salt, and feed good food, keep an eye on them. It just, the dropsy is mainly like a large symptom of what's going on. That like there's a big problem with that fish already. So sometimes you can get past it, sometimes you can't. It's not really like, a parasite or something like that. That's fairly easy to treat because it's kind of a bigger overall health issue. Alyssa Bentley sent this one in. Look closely. There's babies. They are specks that aren't baby brine shrimp. Okay. Pistogramma cockatoides double red. Hopefully Dad doesn't decide to snack on them. What do you think about that?
I think it's fantastic, Alyssa. You should keep doing exactly what you're doing because you are amazing and wonderful and a beautiful lady as well.
I think you should get a macro lens.
Well, okay, that too. I have one, but it's not very good. It's one of them $8 ones from Amazon or something.
Like clips onto your cell phone?
Yeah, and it pretty much does nothing.
Yeah, don't do that.
But I figured it was $8 and good enough to experiment with.
All right.
The video's better. You can actually see what's going on if you know what to look at.
Yeah. Deborah Sanders says, hey, Joel, I just figured out what to use a flat triangle tweezle twazzle for. It works great to smooth out substrate. Well, that is actually its intended purpose. So, yeah. I mean, that's what you're supposed to do with that thing. But I'm still, to this day, like, I just use my finger. It seems way quicker to me. Mm-hmm. The economy of calories, right?
For smoothing out substrate, I actually do get the little wedge-shaped sweeper thing that comes in the pack. That's what you're talking about,
the triangle tweezle twazzle.
Triangle tweezle twazzle?
Yeah.
I thought
I have one here. It's like a metal stick
with a little wedge on it.
With a metal triangle on the end of it. Mm-hmm. And there's like a big one and a small one.
Yep, on either end.
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And that's the intended use for that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could do that. I just don't find it very convenient for me, personally.
Right.
Like
I try to do it with my fingers and then I do it wrong. And I look at it afterwards, especially in my big tanks, which are like it takes my whole arm to get down to the bottom because I can't see what I'm doing. And then I walk away, dripping water the whole time all over my carpet. And then I come back and I'm like, dang it.
Oh, you know what you should do is get a Dennerlay towel.
Oh my God. If I only had a towel on hand.
Oh.
Like this one. Oh, product placement. It's amazing.
It's so weird that you come on here and talk about towels.
It is weird.
Yeah. It's like you're from South Park, right?
South Park.
Don't forget to bring a towel.
Oh.
Yeah. It's not really a thing.
No.
It's a TV show.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know. You're from the internet. Justin E sent this in. He's got Popeye. Hey, guys, I need some advice on my beautiful black Molly. Has just got Popeye on his right eye only. I'm pretty sure it's from him swimming around crazy chasing tail.
Right?
Giggity, giggity, goo, goo, goo. And possibly injured his eye. I've got him at the moment in a quarantine tank and at the moment doing daily water changes with half teaspoon Epsom salt at the moment for the time being to reduce the swelling and retract the buildup of fluid. Well, yeah. Okay. Also have Aquarium Co-op med treatment on the way, but was just curious on other helpful tips and suggestions. It sounds like Alyssa was already answering down here a little bit. What's going on? What's this thing doing? Ah! All right, there we go. It sounds like Alyssa was is having just one eye certainly indication that it's from an injury. Yeah, that's really the deal. Like one of my killifish has Popeye right now on one side. It's not both sides.
Yeah.
So it's normally just from bashing into something like a crazy person. You know, it's like.
Yeah, a lot of fish don't have eyelids, so they can't just be like, something's coming. They also don't have hands.
Yeah,
so
that's a good
if they
point.
run into a stick
Do
or
they
something.
not have hands?
They don't really have hands.
Weird. That's weird. Thought they had hands this whole time.
I know. It's okay. It's a good thing I'm here, you guys.
It's good to point it out. It's good to let people know. Hey, people.
Fish don't have hands.
Fish don't have hands. Okay, bro. They're not mud skippers. Well, mud skippers are so hot right now.
Octopi kind of have almost hands.
Yeah, but they have independent steering.
I know. It's so crazy with their nerve endings and their little brains all down each arm and stuff.
Each arm has its own brain.
Why
it's ridiculous.
It's not recommended that you try to eat live octopus tentacles without chewing thoroughly first.
Just keep chewing, I guess.
Yeah.
Matt Pike sends this in. Says, guys, at the start of his fish room, these are going to be two 20 long racks. Each rack will hold 12 tanks. Also epoxy coated the floor, which congratulations, that actually looks really good.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like you did a good job on the floor. These racks look legit, like they're starting to come together. 2 thumbs up. I'll give it 2 thumbs up. These racks will be back to back. Thanks very much. And well, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for sending these in. Looks about right. It's pretty much the sort of the way I would build it, but maybe a little bit different. Maybe at some point in time, I'll get to show you guys one of the racks I've been working on. Who knows? Maybe someday.
Like the cool hint that you posted earlier?
You guys couldn't even guess how many tanks that was.
I guessed.
How
just
many-
not correctly.
How many did you guess?
I think I guessed 11 40 breeders on the top and 11 29s on the bottom.
That's how many you guessed?
Mm-hmm.
Did you? Is that what you guessed?
That is, in fact, what I guessed. I even posted it.
All right, I'll believe you this time.
Okay.
But nope,
It doesn't have to be correct. It's just what I guessed.
you're way low.
Sweet.
Preston John sent this in. That's where I got my Scootin' Fruity Puffers from. If you guys don't know, Paid in Full Aquatics, that is Preston. And I forget where you can get the Scootin' Fruity Puffers if you want, but he is supplying an actual shipper.
Yeah. I don't remember myself off the.
Yeah, I can't
It's
remember.
some website or another. Maybe
It's a
he'll
dope
be in the chat
website.
or he'll
You can go
post
check
something
it out.
later
You
if
can
he
get
sees it.
some puffers if you want, because they're cool.
Mm-hmm.
And they're American bred.
And everybody wants one.
Mm-hmm. Which I'm not sure what the price is right now, but as the price comes down, like, it's because of people like Preston who are
How big do
actually
those
breeding
things
them,
get?
surprising them. Like 4 inches or something? Like, only like this big.
Oh,
Like, they stay, you know, you could deal with their size.
nice.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Now, he sent this in. It's almost there. Hashtag, what does this say? Tigre ludus? What does that say? Tigre lotrus?
I think it says Tiglotus.
Tiger law?
Tiglo.
Law?
I think it's in
Law?
Japanese.
But that is dope. I'm glad to see the
Is it
plumage.
flowering?
It's starting to flower.
That's
Yep.
awesome.
Although the one downside here is I would say, personally, I would say the chances of this flowering is 50-50 in my opinion. Looks like you're starting to get some of the mold on it, which is normally bad only for just the flowering itself.
I don't know. He can breed scoot and fruity puffers. I think he can do pretty much anything he wants.
I mean, he can do whatever he wants, for sure. He could even text me right now if he wanted to.
Mm.
He has my phone number. We hang out. We hang out and eat delicious food together.
Nice.
Because we're men.
Manly men?
Manly men. Men in tights. But Preston sends this one in. It says, a photo bomb. This puffer will not let me take shots of the shrimp. Well, that's pretty easy because you could just crop this right here.
Mm-hmm.
Get a beautiful 2-to-1 ratio. And just crop that puffer out. I guess if Preston can't do it, he could send it. Send me the raw file and I'll do it for you if you can't figure it out. Wayne Kickery sent this in today. Says, hello from Western Massachusetts. Hello. I didn't even know Massachusetts was big enough for a west or an east.
Technically, your house is big enough for a west and an east. You could be like, I'm on the western side of the house.
No, that's not true. That's not true. It's not possible. We can't do that. We can't calculate that. It's what? We're going to somehow start calculating to feet?
Dude, inches, bro.
We don't even have that technology, just bruh.
Technologies.
Bruh. Anyhow, so my first post I thought I would share my 10-gallon office tank. This is my Betta Waffles
Nice.
patrolling his domain.
I
Now,
like
first
the
of all,
carpeting. That's awesome.
this tank is going to grow in great.
That's awesome.
And if it sounds like I'm being critical, I'm not. I'm just saying, once this is grown in, it's going to be dope. And all these rocks are going to be overgrown. The Pokestemon back here is going to be too big. The Water Sprite back here is going to be too big. This Kabamba back here is going to also be too big, which to me brings a smile to my face because this is a perfect opportunity when you grow the air quote easy plants and they do really well, and then you keep trimming them and replanting them and trimming them and replanting them. Guess what time it is?
Time to give them away?
Well, that's good, yes, but it's time for a rescape.
Oh, that too. Mhm.
Rescape! And the confidence comes in that you'll be able to, get some cooler plants.
Oh, what I was just thinking was that
Look, Water
he's
Sprite-
got his
Water
Betta
Sprite
in the
is
office.
just Kabamba is one of those plants because it's closely related to milfoil.
Right.
So, Rage. This guy right here, Rage, ruins our waterways here in the U.S. like big time. It's a constant battle.
I think it's actually illegal in this state.
Kabamba
I think so.
should be.
I think it is.
I hope it is. Super invasive.
It's like that.
Like you go
and-
out on the Columbia River, it is ruined now from milfoil.
Ugh.
It is just, and it's been that way for a long time. So it's not even like, oh, this happened last year or something. It's been minimum 25 years dealing with that. But regardless of that, it just drives the Kabamba drives me nuts because of that. Water Sprite drives me nuts because it grows like buck wild and it's just like crazy cabbage. But thank you for sending in this tank because this is going to grow in really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So then I look forward to seeing that picture once this runs in really cool. Then I look forward to like a couple months down the road from that when you're like, time to rescape. And man, my green thumb's out of control, so now I'm going to do a new carpet and some new plants and some new stuff. I'll be like, yes, this is awesome.
And I look forward to when your office coworker people see your tank and are like, oh, I didn't know a fish tank could look like that. I didn't know you could actually grow plants in the water, because there's a lot of people who don't even know that.
That's true. There's
And
a lot
they're
of people
going
that
to
are
try
like,
to copycat you, and then you can give them assistance too, and it'll be fun.
Yeah, actually. That's not bad at all.
Yeah.
If you guys are familiar with the show, you guys are familiar with Johan, who sends in his animal of the week every week, which is typically a really large fish.
Mm-hmm.
He always has like some of the coolest fish that are just super difficult to breed or even just keep, you know. Like he sends in fish that are like, man, you're going to need a 500-gallon tank.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So he's very adamant fish keeper. He has a lot of tanks and a lot of animals that he takes care of. And, you know, Johan has been a Patreonizer on Patreon for a long time. I don't know how long. I don't want to say the whole time I've had it up or whatever, but it's definitely been a long time, and he's been posting every week. And sad to say that his cat passed away, whose name is not in the post. But after 16 years, that's a pretty long run for any little critter, you know. I mean, I guess I get it. There are cats that have lived longer or whatever, but 16 years is not out of the realm of how long cats are going to live and stuff. But definitely sad to hear that your cat passed away.
Yeah. I can say in the photo that this cat looks like it was well cared for, and is very comfortable with you being there nearby to take a photo. So obviously, you loved this cat, and this cat loved you.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry that he or she has passed.
It sucks to hit the like button. You have to hit the heart button on there. Well, maybe it's just my heart going out.
Mm-hmm.
More like that. Yeah. Sad to hear that. Sad news. And Mike Howie sends in, he's flipping the bird or something, or he's got crazy fingers. I'm not sure.
Oh. I feel like that was an accident.
It is. It literally looks like he's flipping the bird, but he's just like trying to move
It looks
his
like
hand.
he was about to do the peace sign, but
I don't know. It's
missed.
just an unfortunate moment in photography.
But he's got Chris Luke up right
Yeah, he's right there with old Chris Luke up. And by the way, if you guys are paying attention, if you guys are looking real close, that's the fish nerd right there. Back here, that's the fish nerd. And that is simply Betta in the background.
It's almost like you got all kinds of fish people in one spot right
Oh
there
my
for some
God,
reason.
so many fish people, so little time. Carlos hanging out there in the back. Anyhow, so Mike is headed to the land of the Shrimp King. My family and I are headed to Germany for the week. We will be in the survey when you read this. I'm not sure what the survey. I think he's trying to say like in the air or something. I don't know. Seems like an autocorrect situation. Anyhow, we'll be in the air when you read this, but I will share anything cool I come across whenever we get back. Have a good 4th of July week. We'll probably the Oceaneers. That's you guys. We'll probably won't be lighting off fireworks once Germany. Since in Germany it's just another Thursday there.
Right.
Right. Yeah, it's not Independence Day, but I will remind anybody who is in Europe, especially Germany, there are a ton of U.S. soldiers. There are a ton of U.S. soldiers out there, especially in Germany, who are going to be a little bit...
Amateur hour?
Amateur hour is a good way to put it, I guess.
Yeah.
A little too excited about our moment of... our holiday of the independence varietal. And
a little bit impaired, perhaps?
Probably a little too many barley sodas and things of that nature. So... take it easy out there if you are out international. I think we have like, what is it, 90,000 troops in just Germany?
I don't know those
Because
statistics.
Rammstein. Right?
Yes.
That's the big base there. Rammstein. That's the big mountain.
Yes.
Did you know that?
I did not know that was where the base was. I did, however, know that Rammstein was a town of some sort in Germany, and also I only looked it up because I wanted to know what Rammstein meant in German, since the band exists.
What does it mean in German?
I still have no idea. It's just all I came up with in my cursory Googling way back in the day, in the 90s, was that it was a town in Germany.
I'm looking it up.
You might just end up with translations of the music. Oh.
What does the word Rammstein mean? Rammstein in German is for the ramming stone. All right, there you go. This is what Till has to say about where they got their name, taken from the MTV interview. The name came from the big catastrophe that happened in Rammstein, which is a place in Germany where the American Air Force had a flight show. Rammstein. Oh, Rammstein is banned in Germany.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
The band can't play in Germany?
Yeah, because their political discord.
Oh.
Well, that was in 2009, so it's probably changed since now, but it's problematic.
Huh. Maybe that's why any people that I know who are German just roll their eyes at all the people out here who
They're
seem to like Rammstein so much.
well, because the freedom of speech laws aren't the same. You know, here in America, a lot of people hide behind the freedom of speech, right? And it's problematic at times, but you take the good with the bad.
Right.
And, you know, certain countries like Germany or Canada or the UK or anything like that, they have much stricter laws about speech. So, you know, like I said, take the good with the bad. Do what you got to. I don't know. You know, I'm not German, so I can't really say, like, your laws are bad. You know.
All I know.
You want to ban people because they're ridiculous? I don't know. That's where the Third Reich and Nazi Germany came from. So if you have to put some safeguards on there, like put some safeguards on there.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. I don't know. Rammstein just makes me giggle because it has nothing to do with any of that political stuff. All I know is there's people who I know who just freaking love the band and don't know a lick of German, and they sing along with it, but like from hearing the sounds. And And then if actual German people hear them sing, it's like, I don't know if you've ever heard karaoke from people from foreign who don't speak English, but they're singing English songs.
Right.
And you can kind of tell the words that they're supposed to be saying, but it's not that. And so if you think about that, that's how we sound to the Germans when we're singing along with Rammstein and we don't know the how to speak German.
I don't know. Maybe your friends are really good at Germaning.
No, I've definitely, like, I had my German friend was over and heard them singing along and was like, oh, I don't know what you're saying.
Nobody knows what anybody's saying anymore. All right, guys. Well, we've run out of time for today. We don't have any super chats to address other than Rumbust. Thank you very much, Rumbust. And Jake Husky became a member today. Okay, that's our jammy, right? And let's see. We got the what's Patreon?
Dude, Guar's still around?
No new. Yeah, Guar's, and it's like.
Dang. I thought didn't their lead
like
guy die or something?
I think one of the guitar players died or something, but there's like 40 people in Guar. It's ridiculous.
That's true. So
yeah,
one person, it's not.
Yeah, what is his name?
Because they got
Humongous or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah, he died.
Yeah. And they got all the puppet players and stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, anyhow, Super Chats members, we handled that. We didn't have any new patronizers during the show, but we did have a new patronizer. Where did it go? Oh, man. I wanted to give a shout-out to the new Patreon, but I don't know where it went. It's deep in the emails, guys. I don't know where it went. Crap. Well, I'm a terrible host. Sorry. My apologies. I'll do better, maybe, maybe next time. I don't know. I want to thank Alyssa for coming out. Did you guys get her to 1 million subscribers yet? I think she just has the number as a hobby, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe someday we'll start making videos for her channel, but I'm still on the hook to be making videos for Vicky's channel, so...
Right. You can't be... I mean, you still got to get all this furniture downstairs.
I got to take naps and, like not do anything. And
then there's like this baby or something that sometimes needs taken care of.
Got to take naps with the baby. Yeah, naps. A strong desire for some naps. As far as shows go next week, I have no idea what is going on with the schedule next week. I might be here. I might not be here. I don't know. No guarantees. No promises. No demands. And, Fish Keeperist with a $2 super chat. Fine, stay here for a second. We'll answer your questions. What do you think, Alyssa?
I've seen it done, Neos and Caradinas together. I have had zero luck doing it myself, but I've only tried twice, and it would only be like one sacrificial Neo, like a cull.
What?
I've only tried it like twice, and it did not work out well.
It's doable, but not optimal. One of the colonies will slowly die out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I just...
Not recommended. Their water parameters are such that they're far enough apart for shrimp. You could do like fish, right? You could do fish that were in those different parameters, and it probably wouldn't be that big of a deal, right? So you got like guppies with tetras or something, right? You're like, well, we just land the water somewhere in the middle, and that's probably fine. Whereas shrimp, if you're really like screwing up their feeding and their pH is always off all the time, they just slowly go away. They don't have that complex system like a fish does to be able to make minor adjustments and stuff like that. Shrimp are kind of little mindless breeding creatures. It's kind of what they do.
It's like when wolves and coyotes' territory overlaps. One's going to outcompete the other.
No, it's not.
It is.
Wolves and coyotes mate. They mate.
That's true. They're not going to make you weird. That'd be more like Neocaridina davidi, and then
it'd be like a horse and a donkey, right?
Those also mate.
But the donkey's sterile or something, right?
The mules are usually sterile.
All right. What's a good analogy here? What did you got?
Deer and
moose.
Those can also...
They can't mate.
I'm sure they can.
Those ones can't mate.
I feel like it would be...
They're far enough... They're related, but I think they're far enough apart.
Yeah. Buffalo and bison. Although they need different habitats entirely. Buffalo and bison? Like water buffalo and bison?
I think so.
I want to see this. I want to see this thing. I want to see this bison.
Well, because I was going to say zebra. I was going to say zebra and a horse.
Bisolo.
I was going to say a zebra and a horse. But they're actually finding out that, like...
You get Zorses out of that.
Yeah. Which is dope. I
want
one of those so bad. Well, they're actually finding out that, like, the wild horses here they're turning into zebras, basically. Like, their stripes are coming back and
they're
stuff.
getting into Przewalski's horses and whatnot.
Who? What?
That's the wild form of the horse. Like a Przewalski's horse will have some stripes on the legs and then one straight down the back, usually. And then sometimes they'll end up with 3 down the back, and then they'll have the sticky up manes. And yeah, I know, way too weird.
Yeah, they're becoming zebras. Zebra.
Sort of.
They're becoming zebras. Listen to me. You'll be dead long
Sort of.
before you disprove what I'm talking about. Because it's going to be 1,000 years and all the ice is going to melt.
Lions and tigers can also breed dank tanks.
Lions and tigers, yeah, it's a mix of liger. But they're also sterile, so it's not a good idea.
They're not, actually.
What? Ligers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Like a mule.
No.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
What?
Yeah, no, they totally have lie tigers and whatnot.
I'm looking this up.
Zebras and donkeys make Z-donks, Vicky.
Okay, so are they sterile? Can they reproduce? The answer is yes. What? Traditionally, it was believed that tigers. Okay, traditionally it was believed that ligers are sterile and they cannot give birth. But however, all went wrong when one female liger in the Munich Zoo gave birth to a live liger. Liger means the father was a lion and the female was a liger.
Mm-hmm.
The result indicates that ligers are not sterile. But so far we have talked about the female ligers. Therefore, our notion should be that the female ligers are not sterile because according to the evidence, female ligers have given birth. Male ligers haven't been involved in any mating to transfer their genes to the offsprings, but according to different lab tests, male ligers do have a certain high degree of testosterone presence within their body. However, it will only matter if the male ligers will be able to mate and successfully produce their offspring, therefore passing on their own genes. Okay, so recently, so this happened recently, right? So they thought they were sterile. All right, so you got me. But it's because of the recent nature of this nonsense.
Cheshire Cat, I promise
And we
I'm
still
not
don't
going to
know
be
about the
making any
males.
ligers myself.
But
so
are the males
just so you
shooting
know.
blanks?
I don't know.
Am I allowed to say that? We already got demonetized because I mentioned Germany and, you know, all that nonsense.
Right.
The robots will demonetize us because we casually talk about World War II.
And breeding practices.
And breeding practices. That's true. That's not a good idea.
Ooh, let's not mix
Anyhow.
those together.
All right, guys. All right, guys. Either way, we learned something today. That ligers, female ligers can reproduce, but we don't know about the dudes yet.
I am not going to try and find out.
But donkeys can breed, right?
Yeah,
but mules
donkeys
can't.
mules are the mix of a horse and a donkey.
Right, but they're sterile.
Usually. They've had a couple of cases where they're not.
Now you're just making up stories.
No, I'm retelling stories.
We got to look up the growler bear, though. Because polar bears
are cool.
Because polar bears and grizzly bears make a baby, and that thing is a murder machine. Freaking me out. And
All
they thought
anger
it was fake.
all the time.
They thought it was fake, but it turns out from DNA testing, it's real, and it's
Yeah.
scary.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys, we'll talk to you later. Bye. I'm yelling now.